Hey, it's Holly. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I clean up and polish some of my sets. Today, I'm going to be showing you a bunch of duplicates that I have that were kind of in rough shape, a little bit scuffed up, a few issues with them. So just the process that I go through when I am cleaning them up. So we've got a bunch to work through. Let's get started. All right, we are going to start off just by talking about all the stuff that I have around me right now. These are just some things that I generally have on hand when I'm cleaning. Don't use all of them all the time, but just to give you an idea of some basic stuff that I keep around when I am cleaning up some sets. So over here on the left, I obviously have just some paper towels, general wiping down, polishing stuff. Different types of applicators, so kind of like different styles of Q-tips, cotton swabs, if you will. So regular style, I also have these ones that are pointed. These were for doing like a manicure to clean up, but I find they're really good for getting in small crevices. And then these are, I've shown these a few times on my channel, but these are just like micro applicators, just really, really small. If you compare them to a regular cotton swab, you can see that they're just able to get in sort of smaller places. So that is for cleaning up detail. I also have here, this is called a black stick. These are generally used for computer repair. They're just like a non-conductive stick, but it's got a nice pointy end on it, which helps me sometimes get in small grooves and sort of pry things up. I also have, and I'm not seeing it now, there it is, a special brush that I will use. I just got this off of Amazon. It's OXO brand. I don't know if that will come out on video there, but OXO. This is for cleaning electronics. So one end is a brush, almost like a paintbrush, and that's for dusting. And then this end is sort of silicone, so it gets in small grooves, and you can use it to get sort of gunk out of places if you need something a bit firmer than a Q-tip. I'll generally have a few dishes around, just plastic containers, old glass containers for any fluids that I'm using to clean. And then I have, I need to order a new one of this. This is starting to get low. But these are the Novus Polishes. So one is a fine scratch remover. It's a cream that has a small amount of grit to it so that you can polish things down. And then this will sort of clean that off and bring a shine back to the item that you're working on. I also just generally keep rubbing alcohol around just in case I need it. And I will typically have a screwdriver at hand just in case there's anything that requires opening up with a screw. So I'm going to start out with one set and we're going to move through a few of them today. So first set is the 1989 Skating Party. This is one of my duplicates. I don't have figures for this particular duplicate that I have, but there's a few issues with this one. It has a lot of surface scratches at the moment that I'm going to work on polishing out. It also has a floor that's supposed to rotate when I turn this, but it's not going. So I'm going to start there to see if we can even get this to go. So if you're having issues rotating anything, you have to be delicate when you do this, but I prefer to just use WD-40, which is just a standard lubricant, French, English. But this works really well to free up any stuck moving parts, and you want to use a very fine amount of it because it comes out quickly there. But I find just letting that get in there, and you can see already it was starting to move for us. It's getting there. And you just kind of have to work it in. So I'm just working that in, and I'm going to let it sit for a minute, but I can see that it is starting to turn, which is good. So we'll let that sort of settle in and do its work for a minute. Let's go back to the outside of the case. So when I'm polishing up, I like to start off with the Novus number 2 fine scratch remover. This again is to clean it when you're done, so you kind of use them in reverse order. But I will usually just go right onto the compact with it. The only thing you want to be mindful of when you're cleaning these up is that the logos, the paint is very fragile, so I do need to get a new one of these. This is proving to be a bit difficult to get out. Probably have better luck just opening it up using a Q-tip. So just applying some directly onto the compact. And I'm actually, just while we're here, going to use this Q-tip to work around the logo, just so I don't run the risk of accidentally wiping the logo. Now, when I'm doing this, you want to make sure that you have just some kind of cloth on hand. It doesn't need to be anything fancier than like a paper towel. That'll do the job. Just working. And some sets you can't do this on. So for example, if you've seen my video on the Happen in Hair series, those compacts are pearlized. They have a pearlized finish, so you unfortunately can't polish them. It'll just take the finish off. So you do need to be mindful that this won't work on every single Polly Pocket compact, but anything that has a solid finish that isn't, you know, metallic or otherwise, should be fine. Would also work on clear plastic very well. So just using a bit of paper towel here, coming in and working on it. So you're just using a bit of pressure when you do this. The nice thing is that some sets, and I don't think this one has it, some sets will have scuffs on them, and I think one of the ones I have here, at least one, has some scuffs. Or paint transfer, so you'll get like a streak of, let's say, yellow across one of them. It'll buff that right out. So anytime I see that on a compact with a finish like this, I don't worry about it at all because I know that I can easily get that out. Another tip, I don't have any at the moment, but if you come across sets that have, let's say, someone's name written on them in permanent marker, you can use a dry erase marker to get that out. And just to show you what I mean when I say dry erase marker, something that you would use on a whiteboard. You basically just scribble that on top, wipe it off, and you're usually good to go. I've had to do it a number of times on my sets and it works like a charm. So it helps to pull out permanent marker. So really anything plastic that you need to get permanent marker off of, that should work for you. All right, this is polishing up really nicely. There's one area here where the plastic has a bit of a stress mark in it. I don't know that we'll be able to polish that out. But the rest of it looks absolutely lovely. And it really doesn't take very long. Of course, if there are deeper scratches, you just have to keep working on it. But those fine surface scratches come off very quickly. It's very satisfying because you can take something that looks really scratched up and quite quickly get it looking new again. And usually the bottoms aren't too bad, but that oftentimes if there is some kind of discoloration or transfer, it's often on that ring. And again, easily just polished off with this Novus #2 Fine Scratch Remover. Really looking so great. So some of the compacts, and I think this is just for manufacturing, will sometimes have like a little rough plastic area, and I don't think that that's actually damage per se. I think that's just a manufacturing error of sorts, because it's more of a pit than a scratch, but you will see that on some compacts. Okay, so once I've got that to a place where I'm pretty happy with it, just see a few more that I think I can work out here. This is where if you are obsessive, you can really spend a long time working on these scratches. Having a well-lit area like this really does help. And here I am saying that I think I'm happy with it, and I see more scratches I just want to get out. But again, you can keep going. It doesn't harm as long as the finish will handle it. Okay, feeling pretty satisfied with that. So a little bit of the plastic clean and shine. It comes out quite gently, so you don't need to worry about it accidentally dumping all over the place, as long as you're somewhat careful with it. And again, just taking care not to wipe the logo, because you want to keep that intact. This will just take off any kind of remaining residue from the polish that we were using. This already just has such a nice shine to it now. I am so happy with that. So let's take a look inside and see how this is doing. So this is, oh, starting to go. And these can just get jammed over time, and that lubricant can really just help get it going. It's almost there. You can see it is at least somewhat moving compared to earlier. Okay, that was probably too much. We're just gonna clean that up. Really just, there we go, starting to go. Almost there. see that's really starting to turn. And one thing you just really want to be careful about, and the reason I'm okay doing this way right now, is because all the stickers are up here. If there were stickers down here, I wouldn't be spraying like that. But because the bottom is all plastic, I can clean all of that up without issue. That is really starting to go. This is just such a treat to see it moving again. Okay, that is almost all the way there. It'll do like a 3/4 turn. Oh, there we go. It's going. Okay, that is pretty good. I am happy with that. So yeah, just some persistence, you know, getting that lubricant worked in there to clear it up. And it's also really good at if there's any rust that's happening or battery corrosion. This one obviously doesn't have battery corrosion, but there's a chance that perhaps something gunky got in there at some point and hardened, so it helps to just kind of break that up. That is wonderful to see this starting to move again. Okay, so I'm going to pat that down. Then we're going to go in and start our clean of the inside. So again, the one thing you want to be really careful with when you're cleaning the inside of compacts is just before you get started, take a look at the compact and just determine, you know, is there something there that I don't want to make a mess of. So for example, in this case, that would be the stickers. I don't want the stickers. I'm just using an alcohol wipe here to clean up my surface. I don't want the stickers to bubble from moisture, so just making sure that there's no opportunity for that to happen. So you have to just be gentle with what you're using, very controlled with any liquids. Some sets don't have a lot of stickers and you can kind of go for it, but this one does have stickers on that one side, so I just want to be mindful of that. Oh, this is moving so much better. It's like 90% of the way. That's good. And I do find sometimes if you just leave it for a bit and it settles in, it'll be good. Okay, so when I am working on these sets, I will generally just keep some kind of glass container around, and I'm using just a, you know, gentle multi-purpose cleaner. This is a more natural one, so not like Mr. Clean or anything, but honestly, I don't know if that would even be harmful, but we're just using a Q-tip, and I'm just going in and cleaning up the surrounding area. So I do have some sort of excess of that WD-40 lubricant kind of splattered around the bottom, so cleaning that up first. But usually this is not too laborious. You're just looking for any areas where there might be dirt settled in. Oftentimes I find that the dirt settles into the cracks, so you just want to make sure you're getting into those spots and getting any of that out. This one is not too bad, fortunately. It's mostly the scratches on the outside and the fact that the door wasn't really moving for us. Okay. is so much better. So nice to see that turning. Okay, so we've got that there. Now for the top, same idea. Unless there's something particularly stubborn, oftentimes just a single Q-tip will do me. So going in and just buffing out anything that is residual. If you've seen some of my videos where I've done cleaning, you'll know some of the sets I get are absolutely filthy. Decided to wear some gloves today just in case, but this one is not too bad. We have some coming up that are just a little bit worse. This one's not too bad. That's really all there is to this one. Not a lot going on from a dirt perspective. That's actually quite clean in the scheme of things, so that's nice. So we've really pretty much resolved this one. We've got this starting to go, so I know if I leave that for a few more hours to kind of settle around, it will get even better, but the fact that we can get this to turn at all is wonderful. So still a bit wiggly, but the nice thing is that once it settles in, you can get it to go. I've had some that have been stuck due to battery corrosion that I've got working quite easily, so that is really getting there. That is good to see. Okay, so we are going to put this one aside and move on to our next one. So let's just see if I got one that's got some transfer to show you. Yes. So this one I don't believe I have any pieces for. Again, one of my duplicates. I do have a complete set of this one as well, but this is just a empty case duplicate. I can't remember the name of this one off the top of my head, but I do have a video on it. This is one of the 1992 fairy sets. The one where I thought it was a seal and it turned out to be an otter, if you recall that video. But this case does have a bit of dirt on it. It's a little bit scuffed, but mostly I just wanted to show you that if you have anything like that, you can get that out really easily with some polish. So just putting a bit of polish on that. Because I think, you know, sometimes people might see these as collectors and think, oh, that one's not perfect. Maybe I will hold off on getting it. There's no harm in getting it because you can buff these out. Just takes a little bit of elbow grease, but there it is, it's gone. So it will come off, just takes a bit of polish, and it's easy to get those looking good as new again. This one, in the scheme of things, aside from that, is not that bad, but I just wanted a good example of how I fixed that problem. So I've tried to find a few sets that have slightly different problems to show you. Really do wish I had one that had permanent marker on it still, but that's like my absolute favorite thing to do is get permanent marker off of sets. So whenever I get one, I pretty much go for it right away. So I promise next time I get one with permanent marker, I will include you in cleaning that one up. I'm not about to take permanent marker to one just for argument's sake, though. This one really wasn't that bad. There are a few slightly deeper scuffs that if I really wanted to, I could work on this for probably another 2 minutes, but as this is not one that I'm going to be keeping in my collection, I'm not too concerned about it. Oh, I still have a little bit of color transfer there, if you can see that. But now it's gone. There we go. This polish is great. It really is just so easy to get any of the dirt off, any of that color transfer, those little scuffs that you get along the way. When I was a teenager, I worked at a video game store, and I bought myself, with my first paycheck, I bought myself a Game Boy, effectively. It was a Game Boy Advance, because I only had the original Game Boy leading up to that. And it was funny because I was so protective over it that I got really upset when it got a scratch, and I probably could have just polished it in hindsight, but you know, I didn't have any of these things at my disposal as a teenager, nor would I have known what to do with them. So it's nice to have this stuff now so that I don't have to worry about it. A little bit of polish on there. Don't need such a big piece. Okay, so we got that color transfer off, which is really lovely, right? That's just looking absolutely gorgeous. Now there is a little bit inside, and I'm just gonna have to start a garbage bin over here. There's a little bit over here inside the logo, and I always get a bit squirrely going in there. I'm going to use one of the pointed cotton swabs, just because it allows slightly more control. But if you can see that, it's kind of icky in here. So just going in and picking that out. Sometimes plastic like sweats a bit if you've stored it for a while. I don't know how to explain it, but it gets kind of sticky depending on how you store it and what you stored it in. And I think that that's likely what happens to a lot of sets if they seem kind of sticky or have like a dusty residue on them. You can see like that was just what was in the logo, so it was quite yucky. And it kind of just sticks there because we don't put our fingers in the logo typically, right? So it's hard to get that out unless you actually purposefully clean it out. So that's now looking lovely and ready to go. The inside of this one I think is totally fine. Nothing there that I'm worried about. So we'll put this one aside and we will move on to the next one. Okay, ooh, this is probably a good one to show you. This is the supermarket, Light Up Supermarket. This is my duplicate of it. I do have a duplicate. I got a second set that's not complete. It doesn't have the car, it doesn't have the grocery cart, it doesn't have the groceries, but it has the two figures. So I've got this in my duplicate bin, but if you can see this, this is absolutely filthy inside. This part's not too bad, but this is disgusting. And this is quite gross. If you see in there, that's quite gross. So we will get to work on that. So I'm going to start out with a piece of paper towel and just give this a bit of a wipe down. I'm not even sure. I think it's on, oh yeah, it's on the outside. Might be on the inside too, we'll see. It's almost as if someone spilled something on it. It's really dirty. This one came in a lot, and most of the stuff in the lot wasn't in good condition. And I'll often look at things online and just go, not worth it, you know, it's missing all the pieces, not interested. But this one caught my eye because they had it displayed just like this. And then there was just groceries sitting in it. They just left them inside. So if someone looked at like the listing photo, imagine a bunch of sets, all of the figures over here, and then this one was just laying open with their groceries inside. So I think a lot of people wouldn't have thought to look at like that closely because the rest of the figures and pieces had all been laid out. So it was one of those things where I was like, wait, did I just see that? Zoomed in and there it was. So you better bet I bought that pretty quick because those groceries are hard to find. And I was prepared to have to like make a duplicate of my own, but I did not need to do that in the end because I found them in this set. And so fortunately, I now have a complete set because of that happenstance. But oh my gosh, this is so gross. Yuck. Okay. It's literally just dripping with cleaner. I didn't know what else to do in there. Okay. And again, being mindful, there are stickers here, right? So you want to be a little bit careful with what you're doing. Okay, that's looking so much better. Boy, that was gross. Super gross. Blech. Okay. Next up, parking stall, also pretty gross. So we'll get that wiped down. Yuck. Ew, like it's even dirty under there. It is so dirty. That is so gross. But will be satisfying to just wipe that off. I mean, that kind of is the fun part of this, is you get to take something that was really gross and clean it up and have it look good and a nice second life again. So I still haven't decided what or when I want to do anything with my duplicates. The pile is growing. I currently have it in 2 large plastic bins. I think I'm up to about 90 duplicates, and I wish I was joking. But I say that because I've got it cataloged, so I know in my spreadsheet how many duplicates I have. So still thinking on that. I know some of you have suggested for the 1-year anniversary of the channel, maybe doing a giveaway, so I might do that. Too bad this one has a bit of a ripped sticker there. You can see that there's a piece of it missing. That's too bad. But otherwise, this is looking pretty good. There's a bit of paint wear there as well. I am just like so grossed out by this one though. Like, yuck. It's like muddy, to be honest. It's really muddy. Fortunately, the lights do turn on, so The set is functional, but is missing some pieces, which is too bad. Again, for those of you that may not have watched my entire back catalog, I can't blame you. There's now an absurd amount of videos because we very quickly shifted from once a week to twice a week early on in the channel. So coming up on a 1-year anniversary means we've got a lot of videos. But I'm very, particular about this because I'm collecting these specifically because I had such a wonderful collection as a child that I gave away by choice, my own free will. Wish I hadn't done it, but I did it. Can't change the past, so I decided to start collecting them again. And here we are, now in a full-blown crisis. Just can't stop collecting. But gosh, I feel like every time I turn around on this set, it just gets dirty again. It is so dirty. And it almost has like these spots in it, and like if it weren't plastic I would be like, is that mold? But I know it's just genuinely very dirty and I might need to polish it, but I don't want to wear the finish because it's a bit textured. So let's see what I can get out here. Oh my gosh, look at that. It is so gross. And like, look how muddy that is. Like, ugh. Okay, I'm feeling better about that. So this is looking a lot better now. We'll just take a quick peek inside. Let's start in the top. Not too bad in here. Yeah, I suspect something leaked on it. Sometimes like even something like orange juice, if you leave that over time, it'll kind of go brown. I say that because I accidentally once spilled orange juice on an airplane onto my CD case that I had all of my CDs in for travel. Dating myself. But the cases kind of got sticky and orange on the side from it, so it's unfortunate, but that would be my suspicion if I had to guess what it was. Probably orange juice. Nothing too bad in here. This is actually really clean. It's not even like dusty in here. This looks pretty darn good. We'll just check. Wow, it's actually like not dirty at all in here. Just gonna wipe down the conveyor belt. Definitely a favorite part of this set. I think it is so cool that it has a little conveyor belt. Also, this feels very authentic. You know, when you go to the grocery store and they're like spraying down the conveyor belt. Perfect. Okay, so this one I am feeling pretty good about it. I'm gonna put this one aside and we will move on to our next one, but already so much better. That was satisfying. Oh, better not forget to put those lovely people in there. Okay. What should I show you next? This one may or may not have a problem with it. I can't remember off the top of my head. This is one of my, everything I'm showing you today is a duplicate, by the way. This is one of my duplicate Fairy Light Wonderlands. And this one has a rotating floor. So like I was describing, yeah, I believe this is the one that I already fixed, where it was the same kind of issue. Because this set lights up and I don't have batteries in it. No, I don't have batteries in it at the moment. Batteries go under here behind this screw, and the batteries, if they corrode, will leak underneath the floor. So on multiple occasions with this set, I have had to actually go in underneath here through the screw, spray WD-40 underneath, and then slowly work on it. So if you're having that problem, that's generally a pretty, what's the word I'm looking for, reliable solution. But it will also help, or at least this one that I'm using is rust release, but I think they all kind of do that. It helps to break down some of the battery corrosion so that you can work it out. So I've actually managed to clean battery corrosion off of the coils in the battery, if you know what I'm talking about, like the little coils where you put the battery, and get it working again to clean those contacts. So that WD-40 can be used for a lot of things, but this one, just a few minor scuffs inside. Nothing major going on in here. This is working beautifully. Just put a little polish on here, and there's an area with some paint transfer there that I polished off. But nothing too bad. This one is mostly complete. Unfortunately, these fairies are missing their wings, but I do have all 3 figures. I think I have a few of these complete as duplicates. It's funny because some things, when I started collecting Pollys, I was like, oh, I have to have that set. I went on my way to buy it by itself, only to find out, oh, it's not actually that difficult to come across, and I ended up with a bunch of them. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just happened to get lots that had them, but I came across this one quite quickly. So this one's really not that bad. I'm just going to put a little bit on this here. This set is in pretty good shape. So I think we're just gonna work on the outside. I'm just going to clear the excess polish out of these spots. Okay, that's looking great. By the way, I hope everyone's New Year is off to a great start. I feel like it's a bit hectic over here. We just had a huge dump of snow, which was unpleasant, if I'm being honest. It's been a bit difficult to get around, but got some polish on there. I'm just gonna work around the logo. This one has a logo that is in awesome shape, so that's the good news. The logo is actually quite raised on this one too, so it's a little less risky if you're just kind of going for it. And this set's massive, like it's compared to if I show you the one we were just working on, like it's huge. And I think that's one of the reasons that this set was so popular. Oh, we've got a little bit of, like, I don't know if you can even see this stuff, but there's a little bit of blue paint transfer there, so I can You just need to use a bit of pressure when you do this, but sorry, that's not the most lovely sound. This one is quite stubborn, almost gone. There we go. Okay, we got that out. So, yeah, I forget what I was saying. This was quite a popular set though. I remember my friend had this one and I was super envious because it's so big, it lights up, beautiful color, fairies. Basically it had everything, so. I never really, you know, thinking back on it, I never really saw many catalogs with Polly Pockets in them. I know I've done a video on that, of showing catalog photos. If you haven't seen that, check it out. But I wasn't like super aware of what was on the market other than what either myself or my friends had. Didn't go to toy stores very often. We didn't have like a big box toy store in the area I live in. It was mostly like independent toy stores. So if I got them, we often got them like if we drove down to the US for like a day trip or birthday presents, or someone had gone out of their way to go to a bigger toy store. But not a lot of commercials on TV for Polly Pocket here in Canada. So it was really more of just word of mouth. Your friend got one. I don't recall a ton of advertising. And I watch TV all the time, so it's saying something. But my first Polly Pockets were sent to me from a family friend in England, so that makes sense because they originated there. And I think that kind of is where it started to take off for me. So, wow, that cleaned up really nice. Lots of paint transfer on this one. Really interesting. I don't know if that's just from being stored in a box like over the years with other things or what, but the good news is it all just wiped off. This case otherwise isn't in too bad condition. It is too bad that the fairies don't have wings though. Some people do make replacement wings. It's not unheard of. You can get that sort of iridescent fabric still at fabric stores. I also don't have a fabric store near me. I don't know what it is. I think, like, I live in a big city. It's not like I'm out somewhere rural or anything, but I think just like sewing in general has become a lot less popular, and there's literally one fabric store and it's about half an hour away from here. So it's weird that you have to like drive out to the suburbs to buy fabric from like this one store, and I can't even think of another one. So when I was a kid, there was like fabric stores at every mall. Now it's kind of hard to come across them here. This one does have a few surface scratches on this side that I could probably get a bit better. And I can see as I'm doing this too, the logo, like inside the logo, this one needs a wipe as well. It's looking good. This always just gives it such a nice shine. I love this stuff. It just really works super well. Is looking so good. Okay, so again, just I'm going in with a Q-tip, this pointier swab one. I need to stop calling things by their brand names. It's something I'm trying to be a bit more conscious of. Cotton swab. Cotton swab. Looking a lot better, and that was yucky, by the way. Like, you can see that that really was quite dirty in there, so it's nice. You can just kind of go back in with the dry end and clean up any areas that maybe you just moved around. Okay, so super happy with this one. It's looking good inside, outside. Everything's working well. Okay, we are going to do one more and then we'll call it. Let's have a look at this one. So this one is, again, another duplicate. This is the 1993 Precious Puppies. I cannot tell you the number of duplicates I have of this one. Again, I don't know if it was popular or if I just happened to buy lots that have it. This one is actually complete. It has both the puppies and the Polly with it. But again, this one I just wanted to show you a bit of a smaller case, but just more of that area that we can buff out. So going back in with some polish. That black spot there is really stubborn, but it's coming off. There we go. Not too bad up here. I'm really just gonna buff this out with a cloth. I have a lot of things to just move out of the way there. This one's pretty good. We'll just check out the inside. So you can imagine how time consuming it would be to go through and catalog and clean everything, but it's a labor of love to do this. few spots in here where there's kind of that same, if you can see that, like just little specks, like it's almost like, yeah, color transfer is the best way I can describe it. It just seems like something else rubbed against it and transferred off. But again, you want to be careful that you're just working on the plastic and not anything that has paint on it, because it will take that off. The Clean and Shine you could use on that. It's quite gentle. Okay, that looks good. We'll just go in with some cleaner on the outside first. I'm always careful not to oversaturate these because you don't want it to run in the crack and then make contact with the sticker. You just want to be a little bit reserved when you do some of this stuff. Oh, that looks so nice. Now I've got like lint on it. There we go. Okay, that is looking good. Not a ton going on in there. That one was probably the easiest one of all of them. Just one, it's small, and two, not a lot of issues other than a little bit of that paint transfer on the outside. Otherwise, it looks so good. Super happy with that. So, yeah, let me know what you think with these things. I find that if you do collect anything like Polly Pockets or other plastic toys, this stuff works so well. It's just really easy to use, and it just gets the job done. And I like that. I like, you know, keeping things simple and not having to get too many different products. I will link to this in the description for you to check out. I just got it off of Amazon. I know some of you have commented in the past that you don't have WD-40 where you live. It's whatever you would use to oil a hinge on a door. That is basically what this is. So whatever kind of lubricant you would use for that. But this is all looking good. I'm super happy with it. I forgot to put these away. But yeah, let me know what you think. If there's anything that you use that you swear by, I'd love to hear it. But I find that for the most part, these two things, a good selection of cotton swabs just in various forms, a few extra things just in case you come across something that you just can't get out with a cotton swab. You need to kind of like pick it out. Again, this works great on permanent marker, and then just a general multi-purpose cleaner for getting any kind of dirt or residue off that you need to wipe off. That supermarket was super satisfying, but thanks for watching this. That was a lot longer than I thought it would be. All right, so now that we've tried that out, I think it's pretty amazing, this Novus stuff. Like it really takes the scratches out. So super happy with it. I need to get more because I go through this thing like crazy. But I will be sure to link that all in the comments for you if you are working on your own cleaning of toys and you just need to find some stuff. You can get pretty much all of the stuff on Amazon. I also find it really helpful to just have some different styles of swabs to work with, just to get in all of those little nooks and crannies. But really, whatever you've got at home probably will do the job. You just need some basic cleaner, maybe some of that, you know, anything you would use to lube a door. If you've got door hinge stuff, that will usually work for any of those sticky floors or rusty bits. And then something to polish it with. So any kind of polish will do. I know, like, probably 17 years ago, I bought some polish like for my iPod where they had like the mirrored back. That stuff would work too. So if you have some like sort of fine scratch metal polish, that should work just fine as well. But just anything that's really like a fine grit, liquidy, pasty polish will do the trick. So I hope that was helpful. Again, I'll link all of that stuff that I at least have links for down in the description for you. But again, our first anniversary is coming up on the channel, which is so exciting. I've been getting a lot of ideas from you through the various social media channels we're all on and the comments. So if you do have ideas of how we can celebrate, please leave them in the comments below. I love hearing your ideas. I know a lot of you have been floating the idea of a giveaway, and as I mentioned, I do have a lot of duplicates, so I'm not opposed to doing that, but I'd also like to do something else as well. So if you've got an idea, again, just drop it in the comments for me. If you are on social media, please come follow along. I am now on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up Pocket Vintage Toys. That's where you'll find me. That's the best place to connect with me outside of YouTube. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please hit the subscribe button. We're coming out with new content every Monday and Thursday for you. So you want to make sure that you are subscribed so that you get notified. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.